now I'm going to tackle the final Rainbow album that Dio sang on, known as Long Live Rock and Roll. This is definitely a downstep from the last two albums, but it's still a pretty damn good album. Now, my main problem is that some of the songwriting's a bit weak. Like, you could tell Dio maybe was angry about the cool, epic, progressive steps he made on the last album, and they returned to a more stripped-down, rocking route, which I don't really like that much. The album came out in 1978, and the artwork is not that great. It just kind of shows a weird brown, tannish background and like a weird sketch of the heads of every band member in a cluster. It's not that great though. Now for some reason they sacked the amazing keyboardist Tony Carey, but I believe he performs the keyboards on some of the songs in here. But they got some other dude to do keyboards on some of the other songs. It's really confusing. And they kicked out the other bass player Jimmy Bain and then brought in Bob Daisley, who would apparently go on to write all of the Ozzy albums that Ozzy Osbourne did solo-wise. And they also got E.T. on this album. Martin Birch produced it again. Now let's go into this album. Long Live Rock and Roll is a really great, hard-hitting, heavy, catchy as hell song. What's odd though is at the beginning when the riff starts, Dio comes in screaming, "Rock and roll!" It's a really cool, grooving riff too. I really enjoyed this song. And you can tell there's some Bob Daisley in there with that cool, grooving bass to it. That's one of the big improvements on this album compared to the last album, because mostly everything on this album is a downgrade, but the bass is a bit more prominent and a bit more well written in a way. You can hear the bass doing better stuff overall. I love the riffs and the choruses and the bridges and everything. It's a classic Rainbow song. My only gripe is that they repeat the Long Live Rock and Roll too much at the end, and that can be a problem with other songs in this album as well. But 5 out of 5, a really enjoyable song. Then we have Lady of the Lake, sort of like Lady Evil or Lady Starstruck, and this song, not as good as either of those songs. 4 out of 5, it's really cool though. The riff is nice. It sounds sort of similar to the Master of Insanity verse riff. It almost seems like a fusion of that song and Lady Evil. It's sort of grooving and then trying to be heavy at the same time. Still cool, but it's a bit of a mismatch or mix. What is that phrase called? Mix match? Mismatch? Help me out here. Then we get to one of my least favorite songs in the album, LA Connection. You could tell they were trying to get like a hit with this one. It's sort of slow and rockin' and hooky and all. My big problem though is they repeat LA Connection over and over and over and over in this song, especially at the end. It gets very annoying. 3 out of 5, it's okay. Then we go on to probably the second best Rainbow song ever, in my opinion, and easily the best song off the album, also in my opinion. And that is The Gates of Babylon. Like Stargazer should have started with a keyboard intro, this time it actually does start with a keyboard intro that goes right into the awesome, heavy as hell Gates of Babylon. And like Stargazer, it's very Mid-Eastern sounding, Phrygian. It's what's called the Phrygian scale. Now there's no orchestral or too much keyboard shit to make it sound as epic as Stargazer, but it's good enough in my opinion. The way Dio sings in the song is very epic and Egyptian in a way. The song is incredible, 5 out of 5. And then we move on to another amazing song, Kill the King. Just as good as the last song, almost, but it kind of in a different way. That song is more of a well-written song, I guess, more epic. But this song is heavy as hell, it's catchy as hell, it's very memorable, and another one of the best Rainbow songs. The verse is catchy and memorable, and it builds up to the awesome chorus, the Kill the King, kill him dead, I think he's saying. The way Dio sings on it's very vicious and slivey, kind of a weird way, but it's very brutal too. 5 out of 5, another incredible song. Then we move on to the worst song on the album, The Shed, in parentheses, Subtle. No. This song is not horrible, it has some cool riffs here and there, but it's a complete mess. It does not, the riffs and melodies just collide in a weird mess kind of way. I don't know how to explain any further. I wish I could, but it literally just sounds very off and very off kilter and stuff. Not very good to the ears. So 2.5 out of 5. it's not horrible. It seems like they were trying to do something better than LA Connection, but it's a mess. Then we move on to another rockin' song, Sensitive Delight. This one's very, very catchy. A lot of medieval store sounding stuff again. And what else kind of sucks is some of the medieval sounding stuff is not as prominent on this album as it was in the first two. It's like, come on, Richie, give us more of your insane medieval sounding stuff. We like that. It's hard rockin' and nice. That's pretty much all I gotta say. It's sort of catchy, but not even that memorable in a way. Cool chorus and all too. It's not that repetitive. So 4 out of 5. It's still a good song. Then on to the last song, Rainbow Eyes, which I don't know. I'm kind of back and forth with. I want to really like it. It's the longest song off the album. It's this and Gates of Babylon are probably like the more epic-y songs in the album, but this one's kind of a boring ballad, I guess. And this is easily the most medieval sounding song on the album, too. It has some like flutes and some orchestral shit in there, too. There's a lot of cool layering. But overall, it's a bit boring in a lot of the main parts of it. But Dio sings it nicely, but doesn't give as much of an amazing, beautiful, heart-pounding performance like he did on Catch the Rainbow off the first album. But overall, I still do kind of like the song. I don't know, I'm thinking either a 4 or 4.5 for this song. Still definitely very, very good, but I don't think it's a great song. So I'm going to give this somewhat underrated album from them. Some even say it's their best album. I don't know about that, but 8.5 out of 10.